Okay, and what we want to do in this video is give a rather technical analysis and an explanation, start our three-step explanation for the reason that the demand curve slopes downwards, okay? Now, what we are talking about here is very, very important to understand, and as I've already just said, it does get technical, but I think if we break it down into step-by-step bits, it'll become far more understandable. And remember, in economics, understanding is the most important thing. So the question that we're asking is, why does the demand curve slope downwards? And I will give a bit of a preamble here. Why does the law of demand exist? What happens to consumers following a price change that will cause them, as a result of that price change, to change the amount of the good that they actually buy? So when looking at this, we're going to look at the definition of a demand curve, which is taken from the glossary. Okay, so this is WordPerfect. You've got to learn this off WordPerfect. The demand curve shows the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity demanded. It is normally downward sloping. So when we're talking about demand or any factor in economics, we know that the term ceteris paribus is very important. And again, another definition from the IB glossary that must be learned off WordPerfect is ceteris paribus is a Latin expression meaning other things equal. So all we are saying here is thus, that only the price has changed. And remember that the price must have changed in order to explain a downward sloping demand curve. Okay, so we're only saying the price has changed and nothing else. We're holding that equal. So this brings us on to the law of demand. And the law of demand states that as the price of a good falls, the quantity demanded will normally increase. And it's not a physics law, it's an economics law. People aren't always rational, and there are other reasons that people, for let's say goods of ostentation, that as their price rises for conspicuous consumption, people might say, oh, they become even more exclusive, so I'm going to buy more of them to impress other people, right? But for the moment, we're explaining or talking about goods that obey the law of demand, and hence, why does the demand curve slope downwards? So when the price of a good or service rises, the quantity demanded of that good or service falls, and when the price of a good or service falls, the quantity demanded of that good or service rises. Now, I will, just for the sake of completeness, reiterate that the only thing that is changing is price, but price must have changed, okay? Just please, because there's no law of demand unless there's a change in price. So right now, as I said, price hasn't changed. We're starting off with P1, we've got Q1. There's no law of demand being shown here. Now what we're saying is the price has been reduced to P2. We go out to the demand curve and touch it, go down, and we get Q2. Now, the thing here is there has been a movement, and the movement is only ever caused by a change in price. And where is the movement? Well, the movement has happened from here down the existing non-changing demand curve down to this second point here. That's related to P2. So what we see is that as price falls, quantity demanded increases, no problem. Again, there must have been a change in price in order for the law of demand, to be evident. So what we've got here is a movement up the existing demand curve, ceteris paribus, everything else is remaining equal. We know that a movement is only caused by a change in price, and we're moving up the existing demand curve from this point here to this point here. Following a price increase, people buy less of this good, or an individual consumer or a market in general buy less of this good, and we're asking why. Now, so we've already talked about the demand curve, and we've said that the law of demand tells us the quantity demanded depends on the price, a change in price, okay? So when the price of a good changes, this is known as a movement, and only a change in price can cause a movement. Now, that's from previous videos. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty, and we're only going to talk about one of these three things in this video, and in the next two videos, we're going to talk about the other two. Today, we are only, or in this video at least, we're only talking about the income effect. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So the first thing is, there is an effect on your income. Well, is there? Yes and no. So like in everything in economics, the answer always depends. So what we're going to do is we're going to split income into two separate ideas. One is called nominal income, which I'll explain in a second, and the other one is called real income. Now, nominal or money income, you'll hear me use those interchangeably. Okay, so nominal income or money income refers to income in terms of currency. So as I said, I'm Irish, we use the euro. So an example is I earn €500 a week. Okay, now real income is the purchasing power of money income. Now, this is very important because, and I'll come to this again later because I like to repeat myself over and over again. Nominal income only depends on how much money, okay, that you earn in a week. It doesn't care about prices, whereas real income takes both into account, all right? So real income means how much you can buy for €1 or €500, whatever it is you're earning. And that's what we mean by purchasing power. Okay, so money income is measured in currency. So we've got euros, we've got British pounds, we've got US dollars, Japanese yen, so on and so forth, Mongolian tugrit, all that kind of stuff, all right? So real income, so let's say we're earning €1,000, that's your money income. Real income tells you how much stuff you can buy with that €1,000 that you earn. And think about this, we're trying to talk about changes in price. So do changes in price affect your real income? Absolutely, they do. Okay, now this is a long definition but must be learned off. The income effect, which is the first of 3 reasons why the demand curve slopes downwards, is defined thusly. When a decrease in the price of a good or service that is being consumed means that consumers experience an increase in real income, usually allowing them to purchase more of the product. And then the income effect can be negative. Now, we're going to ignore that because it's not important or relevant to our course, but all we're saying is that as the price rises, you may buy more of a good, but we're not talking about those in general. Not today, anyway, not in this video. So in a very simple economy, we assume a worker earns euros and there's only one good produced and they are Big Macs, okay? So a worker earns €500 per week and the price of Big Macs is €5 each. The question is, well, there's 2. One, calculate this consumer's nominal income, and then secondly, calculate this consumer's real income. Now, the thing is, the first question is not even a trick question. It's just the nominal income is measured in terms of currency. So they earn €500 a week. So that's his or her real income, right? Or excuse me, that's his or her nominal income. Now, the real income is calculated by dividing the money income, the nominal income, by the price. So it's €500 divided by €5, which is 100 Big Macs. Now, just to kind of get into a little bit here about the difference in economics between nominal and real. Real measures quantity of stuff. So that's why we call this your real income, because you can afford, in this very simple example, 100 Big Macs a week. All right? So that's why we're talking about real. It's stuff. So if prices doubled and the nominal income doubled, your real income would not change, because real income measures how much stuff you can buy. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Now, what I'd ask you to do now is, based on the strength of the previous example, pause this video, try and answer these questions. And once you have these questions answered, then press play and let's see how you do. Okay, well, I hope you've had a chance to do that. So what we're trying to do now is calculate the real income for each of the following. So the nominal or money income for person 1, in this case here, they earn €200 and the price of pizzas is €10 each. So to find the real income, it's 20 pizzas. Now, how do we get that? 200 divided by 10 is 20, right? A person earns €500 and the price of pizzas is €10 each. So therefore, what's their real income? Right, well, their real income is their nominal income divided by the price. And when we get to macroeconomics, which we're not doing now, we'll talk about general prices or the average price level. But right now, we're just talking about the price of pizzas. So we're saying that this person's real income is 50 pizzas a week. A person earns €350 and the price of pizzas is 15. We're saying 23 1/3 pizzas. I don't even know if you can buy 1/3 of a pizza, but this is just for illustrative purposes. For question 4, a person earns 525 and the price of pizza is 15. It's 35 pizzas. Now, how do we get this again? Just to stress, we're dividing their nominal income by the price to find their real income. How much stuff can their nominal income purchase, which depends on the price. Please keep that in mind. And a person earns $8.05 and pizzas are $17.50 a week, or $17.50 each, and it's 46 pizzas. What we have done is calculated their real income. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Now, just again to kind of finish, well, it's not finish it off, but to finish off our initial analysis in this video, money or nominal income is only affected by the amount of currency you receive per time period, even if you want, right? If you get a raise, your money income rises. If you get a pay reduction, your money income has fallen, your nominal income has fallen. Money income equals nominal income, they're the same thing. Real income depends on two things. Firstly, yes, it absolutely depends on your money income, on your nominal income, how much currency you are getting each month, week, time period, whatever. But secondly, it also depends on the price of the good. And this is how now we're leading in to the income effect and why the demand curve slopes downwards. If your money income rises and prices don't change, your real income is also increased. If your money or nominal income falls and prices don't change, or the price of the good doesn't change, your real income has also fallen. Right? But now let's look at the other side of that. If your money income stays the same or your nominal income stays the same, but prices increase, you are now poorer in real terms. You can afford to buy less. Please, please, please understand that. Okay, your nominal income hasn't changed, but the amount that you can afford to buy following a rise in price, that has made you poorer in real terms. If your money income stays the same, but the price of this good, let's say, falls, whatever it is, your real income has risen. You can afford to buy more. So the last bit of the setup of this video is this, okay? So state whether a person is richer or poorer in real terms after each of the following changes. So what I'd ask you to do again is to pause the video, read through sections 1 to 8, and then once you think you have your answers, press play and we'll go through and see how you did. Okay, well, hopefully you've had a chance to do that. So in the first one, your income rises and prices stay the same. Well, you have become richer in real terms. You're getting more money income and the prices have not changed, so you can afford to buy more stuff, more real, physical, tangible stuff, or more services. Income falls and prices stay the same. Well, unfortunately, you are poorer, okay, because your income has fallen and the prices haven't changed. So therefore, that reduced income, given the same constant existing prices, means that you can buy less stuff. Your income stays the same and prices rise, you are poorer because you can afford to buy less stuff. Your income stays the same and prices fall, you are richer because you can afford to buy more stuff. Incomes rise and prices fall, you are richer. That's the perfect situation. It's exactly what you want. Income falls and price rise. That's the worst situation. You are definitely poor. Now, for the last two, it's a bit of a cheeky one. All I'm just trying to do is get you to think, because your income rises and prices rise, it depends on which has risen by the greater proportion or degree, and your income falls and prices fall. Again, it depends on which, whether it's your income or prices, have fallen by the greater proportionate degree. Now what we're going to do is taking all of our knowledge of the effect of changes of prices now only on your real income. We're going to extrapolate or kind of prove or show how that makes the demand curve slope downwards. Okay, so the first thing here is the initial income is €200. That's your nominal income. Absolutely fantastic. We're assuming that remains constant. That isn't changing. Okay, what we have now is the price of this good, one particular good, whatever it is, let's make it pizzas, okay, is €10. Right? So the first thing is, we haven't even gone out to the demand curve, but we know that there's no proof of any low demand yet. Okay, we go out to the demand curve and go down. That means that we can afford 20 pizzas. At the very least, we can afford it. Okay, now obviously a demand curve is how much you buy, so this is the only good in the economy, so that's all we care about buying is 20 pizzas. So at a price of 10 with a nominal income of 20, we're going to buy 20 pizzas. Now let's say the price, so that's just writing that bit there. Now let's say the price falls to 5. Well, the first thing is, what has happened to our real income? Our real income has risen. We can now afford to buy more. Our nominal income has stayed the same, not changed at all, still 200. But now, because we can afford to buy more, this is the only good in the economy, the only game in town, so now we buy 40 pizzas. And how do we do that? See, what we're saying here is at the new lower price of €5 each, I can now afford 200 divided by 5, which is 40 units. In this case, we're going to say 40 pizzas. What has happened is thusly, and I'm going to do it on its own separate diagram. The price has fallen. The law of demand is kicked in, but why? Why? Well, the first part of the thinking is the income effect is 1/3 of it, and we're explaining that now. The good has become cheaper. That means that I can afford more. I'm richer in real terms, so I buy more. Now, that is the income effect. The good has become cheaper. My income has stayed the same, ceteris paribus. I can afford more, I'm richer in real terms, and who buys more? Well, rich people buy more. Okay, now just to kind of labour the point, I suppose, again, what we're having is an initial income of €200. The starting price is €5, so we're saying, okay, how much of this good is they going to buy? And we're going to say 40 units. Now, I understand, say, well, they don't have to, I get that, but just for the sake, illustrative purposes, they don't have to buy 40 units. I mean, they could save, I understand that, but we're just trying to make this obvious. So what we're saying is now prices have risen to 10. So how much of this good are they going to buy? Well, at the very least, they can afford to buy less now, because their €200 is not going to buy as many pizzas at a higher price of 10 than it would have bought at the lower price of 5. So at the new higher price of €10 each, I can now afford 20 units. Because of the change in my real income, following a price increase, I am now poorer in real terms, and as such, I buy less. That is explaining the law of demand, right? So now just one last bit here for the general point. As the price of a good rises, well, what happens? Well, 1/3 of the reason why the demand curve is downward sloping, whether it's a price rise or price fall, is the income effect. Following a price rise in this case, what we see is the good has become more expensive. That means I can afford less. I am poorer in real terms, so I buy less. Now that is the income effect. So what is it? It is the change in your real income caused by a change in price. And that's the JT definition. You obviously don't write that down. You write down what I put in the glossary previously. But basically what it is saying is that a change in price affects your real income, the purchasing power of the money that you get in on a per time period basis. And if that is affected, which it is, by a change in price, as the price of the good falls, you are richer in real terms, and therefore who buys more, richer or poor people? Well, rich people buy more. As the price rises, you are poorer in real terms, and as such you buy less, because who buys less, richer or poorer people? Well, poorer people unfortunately buy less. Now guys, I really hope that helps. That's the first of 3 videos today on explaining why the demand curve slopes downwards, and that is the income effect. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.